I really appreciate the historical overview as well, but I'd like to challenge the idea that democracy is at stake. Perhaps the American expression of democracy, the American experiment, is at stake here, but there could be an America 2.0 that's better than the American 1.0, that moves in one direction, Madisonian or Jeffersonian or the other. And I've begun to seriously wonder how many more federal election cycles the people of California are going to be disenfranchised. And perhaps the Republic of California will emerge. I mean, how many democracies today have had the same geopolitical boundaries for 200 years? And I'm just hoping they take us with them, and I think they will because we have their water.
That's a noble statement of which the later Jefferson would have been proud because he endorsed secession. He liked the idea of the states right before the Civil War seceding from the federal government if they didn't like it. I wouldn't endorse that path. I totally empathize with the indignity of citizens of California who feel that the Electoral College is preventing them from expressing their will. And states' rights for progressives is a very productive way to go, and California's remarkable experiments in democracy would not only, actually California has the best alternative to gerrymandering, which is your nonpartisan voting system, and the first past the post systems are better models for how to select moderate candidates than any other state, except for Maine, which is now also experimenting on that score. And that's why Heather Gerken, the new dean of Yale Law School, has a new movement called States' Rights for Progressives, which encourages states like California in a Madisonian way to resist a one-size-fits-all national solution. But secession would be, that's what we're talking here is not just an American problem. These forces of populism are challenging liberal democracy across the world. And the impulse to secede we're seeing in Britain and Scotland, in Catalonia, in Spain, in France, in Canada. And whether you're a Jeffersonian or a Hamiltonian, the great insight of the American framers was that we the people as a whole are sovereign. That was James Wilson's insight, and Lincoln invoked it when he resisted the constitutional authority of the South to secede. He said, since we the people as a whole created the Union, a majority of we the people as a whole would be necessary to change it. And his insistence that the Union be preserved above all was so crucially important, and now at this terrible time of polarization that is ripping apart this country, I think it is so important, I completely understand it, but not to engage in the instinct just to completely wall ourselves off even more, both virtually and geographically. But I love your notion that we could imagine a new America, a new liberal democracy within our constitutional system, united by these ideals that unite us, and that is definitely a possibility, and it could have rousing music and theme songs, just like that one. Yeah, that would be great.
I can think of a couple of states I'd like to see leave, but I don't know, not California.
Just say no.
I'm not saying
Just say
which
no.
ones.